Hey everybody, what we're going to do right now is we're going to talk about this lead wrist condition, which really, this lead wrist condition has a lot to do with those three fingers right here of the golf club, which again gets down into our grip, which we talked about, how things come out and they get like this, okay? So really what you have to understand, not only in the waggle, right? In the waggle, I've already told you that you can feel these three fingers and that you can feel these two fingers holding it. It took me a very, very long time to figure out the importance of this, because this hand and the way that Hogan gets the cup move as he goes up, it's really awesome, but it's extremely mind-boggling when I was trying to figure it out, because it does so many things that are gonna, change a lot of things for us to help us get to this just miraculous feeling of what's gonna happen. So let me get into this, okay? When I get set up and I've made all these great positions and I do my waggle, right? So I've done my trigger. Now I'm going into rotation from the left side. And as I'm doing that, you can see how I'm incorporating the waggle, but it's these three fingers, right? So now all of a sudden, when I've incorporated the waggle and I get up here, now these three fingers feel like they're going like this, like they are really just going like this. Because what happens is, once I'm here and I do that with the wrist, it changes, it rotates the forearm, okay? So watch this. If I get here and I go like that, because the wrist is going like this, watch what happens to my forearm. Roll. See how it rolls? Look at the elbow. It goes here, and then it rolls, which if I come up, there's our cup, okay? But this, getting this feeling of like this, to where I've taken these three fingers and I've gone like this. So it's not these part of the fingers, it's not the pincher part of my fingers, because if I do that, then when I set, I'm never gonna get these three fingers to really allow this forearm to rotate. And when that happens, the right back forearm will follow what the lead hand's doing. Okay, so let's look at this from downline for a second. Okay, when I'm talking about this and I've made my, moves and I get here and I've made the roll and then I get here. So when I have this left wrist in the correct conditions, because it's happening with these last three fingers, like it's going like that, if you will. So it's here, or it's like this, and then it's like that. And when I open my hand, that's where it looks like it's facing is over here, but that's only because the wrists are like this. Now, if I did it like everybody else, see the difference in the palm? That's it. But like Hogan here, and it's set, it's like this. And then I'm just gonna put my fingers on it and it's like that. So if I open up my fingers, that's what it looks like. It looks like it's pointing over here, where most people, when they don't set the wrist, they open up the left hand, look where it's pointing. Hogan's was like this, okay? And the reason for it is, if you look at this correctly, look at my forearm. So right here, people are here, and then they go this way, which is up. Forearm still over here a little bit. But now watch what happens when I use these three fingers and I go like that. Look what just happened to my forearm. You can see it all day long. Here, what happened to my forearm? See it? Here. Bingo. Now this forearm, the forearm part is facing up at an angle. Why is this important, right? Okay, remember, we give a lot of reference to baseball. Okay, so if I'm here in baseball and I'm like this and I've got the bat, where's this forearm? It's facing up. Where's this wrist? It's cupped, just like Hogan, right? So what Hogan was doing, because think of the baseball player, it's up. So now all of a sudden when the baseball player is coming through, where's this forearm? It's still up. The forearm isn't down at this point, okay? So now, because we know that baseball, look at this. The forearm is still up. The cup is still here. Golf. right? So we get here. Now we're gonna make that move, which now is put the forearm up and it rotates the elbow. So watch what happens. Here, trigger, here, there it is. Now from here, it's real simple. We just go to the top. Now we're gonna run out of the block. Look at this. The forearm is still up. Look where that back elbow is. So we're here. The forearm, the forearm is still up. Still up. Now the elbow, because the forearm's up, just because I'm doing this with these three fingers, now it's pulling this onto the side of the body as I'm leveraging and coming through, and then all of a sudden it's, whoosh, they go down. And when they're here, see how the forearm's up? So now we're gonna push it through. See how the forearm rotates? Here, there, here, there. But the really cool part is, because I'm like this and I'm at the top, now when I'm coming down, look at this. This was extremely tricky for me when I was trying to figure it out. Because when you get here and it's like, okay, now I'm coming around. Look how this hand, this palm is up. And if you look at some of the swings of Hogan online, you'll see it like this. And it's like, damn, how does he have that up, pointing up, where most people have it pointing, they get here and they go like this. See how it's pointing this way? Well, Hogan in his transition has it lead hand on top, right hand on bottom, right hand or trail hand facing up. So it was kind of like, man, how was he doing that? It's exactly how he was doing it. And then all of a sudden it's these three fingers in the left hand that are bringing this around to where I can leverage it and get into where I want to go. Hogan couldn't have emphasized these three fingers and these two fingers. It is the most amazing thing you're ever going to experience. Let me show you what I mean from down the line. Okay, when I get here and I'm getting the cup move like we talk about, so at this point, because of that bend, and I'm actually going from this position to that position with the three fingers of the left hand, okay? And what you're going to feel is a tremendous stretch right here, and you're gonna feel tremendous pressure in these last two fingers, okay? So now all of a sudden I'm gone like this, there it is. So it's these last three fingers that are setting, getting the cup. Now these three fingers and these two fingers are taking it to the top, okay? So now when I'm coming down, I'm like, okay, there it is, there it is, there it is. Even at this point, it is still these three fingers. It's still these two fingers, and then I'm able to come in and hit the ball. So what you have to understand is these three fingers are taking it back, and then they're this way with these three fingers, not even these two. I'll leave my hand like this where my fingers are out. So it's like this, top, these three fingers along with these two, okay, along with these two. But what happens is some of the craziest stuff in the world, which would throw me off, because I used to think, okay, I'm doing this correctly, but when I'm doing this, I feel more pressure in these two fingers and in these two fingers, which are really like these two fingers. So if I leave these 6 fingers off, and I go like this, and I go up, you're gonna see how this setting is now being governed from this part of my hand instead of this part of my hand. So it's really those 3 fingers of the lead hand and these 2 of the trail hand that are going like this, 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 and then, but if I do it with the pincher fingers and I go like this, look at this, this is so dainty, there's nothing in it. But the reason Hogan is getting that is because now, like a baseball player, he's ready to go and bring this thing, okay? And these 3 fingers, the pressure, and these 2 and these 3 are what allow this thing, as I'm going here, now it's gonna start going up and around. And when it's up and around, now I've still got the cup here, so I get at the top and it's everybody's going, God, Hogan must be double jointed. He must be something crazy, right? And then all of a sudden he's coming down, and then he's coming down even more, and then he's coming in here. But it's these fingers that are making this happen. And what's the really cool part about this? This is what blew me away, okay? Let's look at this from down the line for a second. What blew me away is when I was showing this to a lot of my students, they would be like here, they're like, wow, Chris, that's cool. But then the second they activate these fingers, their tendency is to want to go this way with the club, this way with the club. And it's just, it has something to do with the pressure points. So all of a sudden they're going out and over, or they're trying to do what we're teaching them, and they go this way, and then they want to release out, which we know that is not what it is. But if you grip it with these three, I'm going to leave those ones off the club. So I'm just going to go to the top. I'm going to get this crank. Now when I start coming down, look at what's going on here, because this forearm is still facing up because of the angle and the cup that I have in my wrist. Now when I'm coming around, look at this. Coming around, look at that, right into the ball, and then it's able to extend and go down the line. So if we can just understand the importance of these three fingers, then I'm telling you, a great drill to do, grab your golf club, put it like this, make your first move, and then feel like it's these three fingers that are going like this to get the cup, okay? Now, because predominantly for a right-handed player like myself, my lead arm is a little bit weaker. Yours is going to be too. And when you start doing this, I'm going to tell you, you are going to feel tremendous pressure here. You're going to feel tremendous pressure here. You're going to feel tremendous pressure in these three fingers. And then you'll be like going to the top going, damn, that's very, very uncomfortable. And then as I go to the top here, you're going to be like, damn, that is even more uncomfortable. And then when I take these three fingers and I'm coming down like this, you're going to be like, it's these three that are bringing this thing into the area to hit. The more you feel, I swear, if you could cut this the thumb and this finger off and the rest of these fingers and just have it like this, don't do that, whatever you do. But if we didn't have those, golf would be very easy because now you're getting all the correct pressure points in the hand to interact with the butt of the club. But the reason for it is like if you took your golf club, make it like a baseball bat, you're here. I guarantee you, if you just do this, you are going to feel more pressure in these three fingers, and you're going to feel more pressure in these two. It just is the way that it is. And then all of a sudden now, when I start to come down and I've triggered, it's these three fingers and these two that I feel that pressure in because the forearm is up. Now when I'm coming down into this and I'm working our angles, look at what's going on. Everything's going, remember, Hogan, in a position to hit, in a position to hit, in a position to hit. Boom, which brings us into the hit. But it has to be done with these three and these two. So however you need to do this 100 times a day probably would be the best bet. Get here, go there, because we've already started our waggle. So we're there, and then this. So what that feels like is this and that. This and that. This and that. That's what it feels like. So then all of a sudden I'm up over here, right? So all of a sudden it's this and that. See how I've got this crease here? How there's the cup, because I'm getting, by allowing these three to take this up and get here, it allows the forearm to rotate. And because it's rotated, now it's up, the elbow's over here. Now I can just bring everything around this way, like I'm going to hit a pitch, but now all of a sudden it's going here, and boom, right into the ball. So just remember, however you got to practice this is what Hogan was doing with the club. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'll be the first one to tell you, it causes a tremendous amount of strain on this part of the arm, forearm, and on this part of the hand. You will feel it. You'll be like, God almighty, I've never felt that before. But I'm not squeezing the crap out of this club, but I'm just setting that wrist, and the hand gets stronger. The shoulder, I can feel different things here. So now all of a sudden, because this is rotated, now when I'm coming back into this delivery and I'm coming down, you are gonna have this strong sense because this is up, it's not pointing like this way, and then coming down. See how it's down? It's coming this way, but Hogan is coming around his body. So now all this is here. This is gonna go to the left. These three fingers and these two, boom, right into impact, through, great acceleration of the club head, and everything works out. I cannot stress enough, you have got to find a way to do here. So, sorry, let me get set up right there. Trigger, roll, that way. As many times as you possibly can. Get to here. And then from here, keep this angle, keep this stress, keep this pressure, and go to the top, and you'll be like, wow. Wow, that's a different feeling, okay? But here's another cool part. Let's look at this from down the line. When I get here and I do this, because this is pressed so much, I mean, this is a very short club because it's only like this, not like an iron or whatever. But by doing it like this and I go to the top, that's where I'm going. I can't go anymore. I'm just here because of that pressure. Now from here, it's just going, there it is. There it is, there it is, boom, right into impact, boom, and we're gonna go from there. So remember, these three fingers are important because they go like this, and a good way to do it is get the, we're waggling and we're gonna get the roll, and then from here, with these three fingers, as you pull this shaft in this direction, feel these three fingers and the stretch it creates right here. But when you do it, make sure the forearm rotates up, and it will because your arms and hands are just like mine. So all of a sudden it'll be like, there we go. Now from there, we're just gonna go there, and then we're coming this way, and then we're coming that way, and then we're coming this way, boom, right into the ball every single time. So remember, these three, most important, I cannot emphasize it enough. We'll see you in the next video.